আইডিটা একটু চেক করবেন আজকে। আমি এই যে তাহলে আর ভেজাল হয়। হ্যাঁ, ওকে 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 ওকে, let's get started. Cisco router Cisco's routers have some operating systems. Okay. Cisco iOS. Okay. Internet networking operating system. It's Cisco's proprietary operating system. It is based on mainly Linux. I think most of you work with Linux, different variant of Linux. Okay, Cisco's iOS is based on a variant of Linux. Although all the Linux command will not work here because it is modified or some proprietary version. And this iOS operating system are working in routers and switches. But recently, not recently actually, from few years, Cisco introduced several operating systems such as iOS XZ, iOS XR, and NXOS. NXOS are mainly used in modern data centers, which are mostly software-defined network. And we mostly focus on Cisco iOS. And all the commands we are learning in this course will work in this operating system. But there are some differences in different commands. Some commands may not work in other variant of iOS. Okay. However, we will mainly focus on Cisco iOS. Cisco devices have some memory. You know, it has RAM, it has ROM, it has flash memory, and non-volatile memory. RAM is used similar way as computer because it is also a computer, customized computer. RAM is used for temporary data while the system is running, and then you have non-volatile RAM. Non-volatile RAM means when you stop power, it pulls information. Mainly it holds configuration file. Okay, and the flash memory, you know about flash memory. Flash memory holds iOS image. That means iOS image, kind of iOS operating system. Okay, and ROM stores routers, bootstrap, fire, are the operating system starts like power on diagnostic test or power on self test process is initiated. Okay. And the process of boot process is at a glance you may study here. But at first, when we switch on or power the device, the power and self test will proceed to check if all the devices are functional. Then it will check configuration register. If configuration register is found, then iOS will be loaded, and from NVRAM the configuration file will be collected and the system will be operational in loading startup configuration. From a startup configuration, then it will be running configuration and the system will be up. But in case configuration register is not found, then it will start in flash. If it is not found in flash, then it will be TFT server. For example, if you want to boot from remotely, say your iOS image is in a TFT server, then it is possible. Otherwise, it will start also ROM. If any where found, then iOS will be loaded and the system will be functional accordingly. Okay, our just this is our operating system related information. But today we will focus different labs regarding how to manage your routers and switch in a system. So I planned several issues regarding routers and switch. We will discuss those labs. Which one should go past? Okay, at first, what we will do, we will configure the password protection. Okay, let's see. Okay. What is this? Okay, what type? Okay, when you have a router, you will configure basic configuration, and then you will set password. There are different passwords, like when you are in exec mode, if you want to enable privilege mode, you can set password. So there is 2 layers of protection, and in case somehow managed to log in a device without authorization, and if they face to enter another password, then they will not proceed with. Okay, so we set 2 types of password. Moreover, there are different ways to log into a router. Okay, look at this. Let's take a router. Can you see the packet tracer on my PC?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Okay, we can also set password here. So at first, let us talk about which are the ways we can log in. Number one is serial console. Okay, when you get a brand new router or switch, you must connect using serial console cable. Okay, serial console cable requires no IP address. Okay, you can use different application like Putty is one of them to log in this port. Okay, when you set password, you must consider different options Like serial console is one way to log in a server. Then another way is auxiliary port. Auxiliary port is used to build another out of band network to log in a device. And then you have in-band login option using SSH, the telnet or HTTPS. Okay. For serial console, to log in serial console, a person need physical access to the device. You cannot do it remotely. Okay, that is why physical security or the security of the places should be restricted. If someone gets there, they can easily use this console. So another way to protect is to set password for this line code. Okay, serial connection or console connection. Some people set SSH or telnet password, but they forget to do that. So if someone can enter the room where router switch then they can access it. And then another port is auxiliary port in the router. So auxiliary port is used to connect with other networks. Like if you have a telephone line, for example, you can use a modem using telephone network. Then you can log in to the device remotely. Okay, and this option is very rarely used. Okay, at least I never use this because we don't need. Either we initially we connect using console and set IP addresses and management addresses, then and it is connected to the network, and we work mostly remotely from our desk. Okay, and then when we set management IP, then we log in router using SSH, telnet, HTTP, HTTPS. There are 4 protocols we can use. Using HTTPS, just use GUI based. Okay, just use your computer's browser to log in the devices. Or for SSH and telnet, use the command prompt. Okay, there are 2 options available for most Cisco routers and device switches. Okay, but remember, our telnet and HTTP protocol are not safe because they transfer data in plain text. They don't use any encryption. So we'll avoid them in our router and switches management. Okay, we will disable them. We have some labs regarding this. We will use SSH in case of command prompt, or we will use HTTPS in case of GUI based management. Okay.
So in SSH, which IP address do we use? Is it the loopback address or which address?
Yes, you can use loopback address, or you can use interface address. Okay. For routers, we use interface address. What about switches management? Do you have any idea?
Yes, we use VLAN management.
No, VLAN interface. Okay, we will create a switch virtual interface and set an IP address. And that IP address will be used. Okay, we'll show it one by one. Okay, how can we set console password? We can set but there is one limitation. Maybe we have to set. Look at this. If we set a computer, then we connect a console cable. There may be console cable. Okay. Look, we'll console connect to console. What is that? We'll use the work. Let's check. Okay. Can serial port? Okay. Let's check if it works. Where is the cell? No, it is cell. Oh, serial.
It's terminal.
Oh, terminal. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, great. Terminal. Oh, you log in, right?
Yes.
Can we say running computer? Yeah. Okay. We use in real world the same way, but here just everything virtual. What I am trying to say is that we can set password. As we have not set any password, we just click it just logged in. Okay, let's set password. Let's work from here. Let's see what happens. Console and say password is hello, all caps lock. Okay. And we can also set timeout. For example, when we are inactive on our console or some reason we left our computer unattended, someone may try to log in. That is problem. So we set some time so that after some period of inactivity, it will log. Okay, you can take it. Okay, let's check what happens. Okay. Now, password. Okay, what should I do? Try again. I don't know whether everything works. So directly login. What about password? Let's check. So password is set. However, password is set, but somehow it is not giving the prompt.
So you forget to give the login.
Sorry?
Login command.
Oh,
After the
login. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Login is missing, right? Okay. Line 1, 0. Okay, login. Will it work? Let's see.
That's how it seems to work.
Okay, yes. Yes, login is missing. Why I missed this here? Okay, let's write down. Okay. Okay. So in this way, we can set password. So another, if we want to set another layer of protection, say you logged in switch part, you cannot enable. You cannot go to privilege mode. Then you will set another password. Enable secret. That is called enable secret. Okay. Look, so allow. Okay, done. So we just entered. With enable, we just entered in privilege mode. We want to set another layer of protection. So we are giving another first enable secret password is Syslog. Okay. Sure. Enable secret. Here you can see that you cannot see the password because it is encrypted. Secret, enable secret by default 5, level 5 is taken. That means the password is not viewable to others. So many people will enter log into this switch or router, but they will not see your password. Okay, that is a great thing. You have to know this. But for example, LineCon, we use unencrypted password. You can see. Okay, we can also hide. Okay. With encryption, we can just hash or encrypt the password. Okay. Okay. If we try to enter, you have to set password to the enter. Enable, you have to put another password. Oh, okay. Now, whatever. Oh. Maybe what is the oh, it is also uppercase. Oh, okay. It is okay. Always try to set password. Otherwise, someone may intentionally or unintentionally change your configuration. So when you are in a professional environment, always careful about passwords. Maybe if someone knows your password or it is not even protected by password, they will change and you will be confused whether you did it or not. Okay. So my suggestion is always set password, and password must be strong. That should not be guessable. That means people try to guess what password may be, and you can avoid this. Okay. Okay, password setting is important, and then we'll show other like.
Sir, please can you share the file with us?
Of course, I'll share. Okay, I'm sharing. Okay, one by one sharing. After discussing, sharing. Okay. Just, sharing. For you. Today's labs are smaller, but they're important. Of course, you must clear about all the concepts. Let's check. Okay. Recording is starting. Six. Okay. For enable 6, enable password. Configuring enable password. Then we
Sir, did you share it to everyone?
yes, everyone. It is uploading.
Okay, sir.
Maybe bandwidth is not sufficient. But yes, already uploaded. Now you can check. Okay, then okay. Then next we'll show the. So we finished console connection logging. Okay. Console connection is required when you get a brand new router or switch or firewall or other Cisco devices. When you unbox, you will get console cable, then you will use it. But when we regularly use console cable connection is not feasible for us. For example, you have routers and switches in different places that is very distant or far away from your office. Okay, it is not feasible to configure them. Or you may be a junior engineer in the beginning. You will go to the site and give the basic settings in router and switches after installation and integration. But when you become a bit senior or you work regularly on the system, then you will just ask someone to connect or set basic configuration IP addresses. Then you will do it from network operating center or where maybe experienced people are sitting or working together, where they will configure advanced settings in a router or switch. Okay. What for this? What we need? We need SSH connection. We need telnet. We need HTTP or HTTPS. But for security reason, we just use SSH and HTTPS. We just disable HTTP and telnet. In this lab, we are showing that we have a router and we will just use different settings for SSH and telnet or other logins. Okay. What we will do at first, we will just give a host name. Host name is required for generating RSA key. Okay. RSA key is an key for security of SSH. So why we prefer SSH? SSH is encrypted. That means only you can understand what is the message between router switch and your computer. And if someone intercepts data from some network, they will not be able to figure out what in the packet. Okay, that is why we use encryption. Okay, encryption is very crucial part of security. Okay, so we use encryption here. So how encryption works? Encryption works, when you send data, it will be encrypted. That means your data will turn into something that is meaningless to the people who don't have decryption key. Okay, with encryption, with key, anyone can see what is the message or what is the information in the packet. Okay. So the process of configuring SHS in a router or switch is here. What we do, just we disable the telnet and we will enable SHS. SHS version is 2. Okay, in this level, what we will try to define domain of the router. Say every network can be defined within a domain. Okay, what is domain? Domain means a group of routers or switch is under administrative domain and by an entity. Okay, say you have an organization, you are maintaining your organization is the iotbd.org. So it is your domain. You have some networking devices. You are network administrator, network engineer. You are manager. So router needs this domain. And then we have the number of bits of the encryption key. Okay, RSA key. If you if you have already studied or you can study different types of encryption techniques. Okay, we are talking about RSA here. Okay, we can also set RSA SHS timeout. If you leave it your SHS session, but you are not working. So 60 minutes in activity will lead it to a timeout. Okay. And then how many times you can try with your authentication key? Maybe your password is wrong. If you try 2 times, okay, that will be locked. And then we will use SHS version 2. SHS version 1 is possible, 1.9, maybe that is not recommended. SHS version 2 will be recommended. Okay, another task of this lab will be disable HTTP. Okay, we have built-in HTTP or HTTPS server in a router or switch. But HTTP is plain text, so we'll also disable it. And then we'll try SHS connectivity. Okay, we'll set host name. What we will do at first, we will in the router let's change the topology. We'll take a computer, say your laptop or desktop. We'll connect it using Okay, gigabit Ethernet. What you will do, you have to, what is rising? Okay. In the router, just, oh, you set password also. Look, when we set, oh, right, it will be disturbing. Control F6, but it will take time. Okay, setting for security is a bit inconvenience for everybody, but for security sake, we have to set those password or things. Okay. Remember, always security is inconvenient. It's an important point. Okay, let's set password. IP address here, like 10.1.2, for example. Okay. Our okay. We have got our okay. Now it is now we set SSH and disable telnet. How can do it? Oh, at first we have to set hostname. Hostname is required for generating RSA key. Okay, and let's set password. Interface with 0. Okay, set password. Then no start. Okay. So I see. Okay, put it up. Now enable SSH. So we can set a username for SSH. The username admin, password is Cisco. Okay. Then line VTOI. Okay, let's see again. Okay. Line VTOI 0 to 4. Okay, there is a mistake. Okay, let's try.
Sorry. We didn't change 15 to 4. We did not get
52?
4.
Yeah.
So
I mean, why? I did not get.
So BTY has 15, right? 15 port.
This router actually line BTY means virtual virtual terminal. Actually. How many virtual terminal you can allow? Okay. When you connect to a router, or you connect to terminal. Then you can also connect to other terminal to the same router. So in router 0 to 4 for switch, it is 0 to 5. So how can you see it? When you run, you will see this. Okay. Line con 0, for example, line auxiliary 0, line VTY 0 to 4. So we can set 4 for router. Okay. So
sub 4 means 1 traffic, right? 15
Sorry?
means 2. 4 means 1 traffic. 15 means 2 traffic, right?
no. This is the number of terminals.
Yeah, 4 means 1. 15 means 2. Right?
Yeah. 4. No. 4 means 15. Not that. Actually, it has 5 terminals. 0 to 5. 0 to 4. That means 5. Or for switch, it is 0 to 15. That is, it has 16 terminals. Okay. Just number of terminals. Virtual terminals. What is virtual terminal? Will show you. Okay. So how can we set SHS? Look at this. Input, transport input. Let's show that. There are 4 options. Look, all protocols, none, no protocols, SHS, SHS protocol, telnet protocol, TCP/IP telnet protocol. Okay. So we want only SHS. That means telnet should be stopped. Okay, we will only allow SHS. Then you will write here SHS, transport input SHS. If you set all, then both SHS and telnet will work. If you write none, then no protocol will work. Okay, clear. It is very important. You just enable SHS. In case you want only secure protocol, if you are very serious about security. But in some organizations, telnets are also used where they assume that their network is secure, so telnet is good for them. Okay, in that case, they will recommend you to use telnet. Or another case, you will be able, we need to use telnet. Sometimes some old devices may not support SHS. In that case, you have to use telnet. Okay, these are the reasons. Otherwise, just try to use SHS only, not telnet. With telnet, some people will try to restart the network, or some people try to hack your system. Okay. So, and then last command is login. Okay, last time we missed it. Okay, login disable until password is set. Oh, what? Okay, set password. Oh, where is our SSH? No, we missed. Okay, I'll get that again. We'll what about our password? Password working. Okay, let's set a password, then our line BTY 04, then transport input SHS in disabled and line login disabled. why until password is set. Okay, just set a password. Okay. Before that, let's set token. Okay. Some reason there is okay. SSS is enabled. Okay. SSS is enabled. Where is our user password? Let's check. Admin password. Okay, admin is also created. Okay, however, let's try. Okay, say the domain is set. Okay, then we'll generate crypto key or encryption key for this. How we can generate? Okay, 4. So key length can be 362 2048 bits. Okay. So you can set number of bits. So in general, if you increase the number of bits, it is more. It is stronger. It is stronger with the number of increased number of bits. So say let's say 1024. So key is generated, but in the simulator keys are not may not show like, but in real life you will see a key like this type of hexadecimal presentation of the key. Okay. So okay, let's try from the computer. Whether it is although it is okay, let's send dot what is the first IP? What is the username? Admin. So connect password. Oh, it is working. However, what is the password? Cisco. Where is the password? I said Cisco, but it is why not work? Okay, somehow it is not working. But this is where SSS is functional. Okay, you can log in SSS in 2 different ways. From using a different application like here SSS client. In real life, we use party or there are many other clients. SSS client. SSS server is running on router or switch, or we can use also from command line or from other switch or router like this. Okay. SSS -1 admin IP address. Okay. Then we can set process network. Somehow there
Sir,
are some, okay.
this IP address is for the gateway, not for the PC.
No, gateway. Okay, gateway.
Configuration. In the configuration you wrote the gateway was 1 and the IP address was 2.
Yeah, that is the issue. Yeah, that is no, but that is also the IP address. So IP interface brief. Okay, that is IP address of the interface. That is the problem, maybe. Okay, for routers, interface addresses can be used as management IP. Okay, let's set a loopback address. Okay, let's try with another one. Okay, country interface say loopback say 0 loopback 0 IP address say 1.1.1. Cannot share. Okay, can we read this IP from what about this? Okay, I first try that. What is no? There may be some other issue. Okay, but in real router,
So you
found
can
not-
try. You can try using the password hello or
no hello hello password is for console. Okay, let's try. Okay, when you said okay. Password. So, connection. No, that is for specifically for console. Okay, there you must be clear about the way we can log in. We can log in 3 ways. One is serial cable or console cable. That is one. And then another way is auxiliary. Auxiliary is not usually used. Okay, maybe you will never use. I think in most cases, I never saw anyone use this, and I did never. Okay, but third is almost always used. That is in-band management. Okay, in-band management means your data and management communication in the same channel. Okay. And the protocol are 4 protocols I mentioned. Okay, SHS, Telnet, HTTP, HTTPS. Okay. Okay, what we have shown you that our SHS. Okay, one thing I missed, that how can we see the key we generated? Okay, RSA key is like this. So for encryption, this key is used. Okay. For encrypting data between your computer and the router switch. Okay, in this way, we'll configure SHS or disable enable or another thing is if we go to the router, we'll see. Here you can see show run. Okay, maybe. We cannot see the HTTP. HTTP in the configuration file. What it should be. What we'll do, we'll disable the HTTP server. Although I cannot see here. No IP HTTP, no HTTP, no IP HTTP server. What about IP HTTP? Okay. Is it available? I don't know. Maybe all commands may not work in simulator. Okay. But in real life, you just disable. Okay. Another thing, you check your SSH version. What is the version running? Okay, your version is also 1.9, and that is, but it should be 2. It should be 2. That is this command. Whether I run this command, check. Maybe some commands are not working properly. Never check here. FT. Say this is version is 2. Okay. So IP SSH. Okay, now it's working. Okay. After running this command, you can see this SSH version is 2. Earlier it was 1.9, but you must make sure it is 2. Okay. You can ask any question. Is it clear to you?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Is it that after setting username and password, you have to log in first before doing anything? Like on the console?
Okay, initial. Okay, console. Yes, we use console, but what are you talking about? We use console username password for login console using console. For SSH, you use different. Okay. For auxiliary, we will also use another credential. But here, SSH server is functioning. Okay. But we failed to log in. Why? I check again. Okay. Share the file. Okay. Okay, or you can also practice. Just try yourself. Then we can.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Abdullah, just can you try in packet tracer and see that if it's working in your packet tracer.
So we will try, if you have any lab that that is not yet completed, I think we can just continue. We will try, then we will let you know in the next class. All the
Sorry,
lab.
in the
We'll
lab.
Yeah, all the lab we will try to complete them before the next class. Then we will let you know. Now it is better if you continue with the lab as you have done.
Okay, okay. Today we have many actually. Okay, another thing regarding router and switch management is configuration file backup and restore. Okay, let's close. Let's say you have a router. Okay, you have some configuration in the router. So your colleague also work with this router. Maybe you have several colleagues in the team who work with the same router. So for many reasons, you have to change configuration and continually. Say after a few days, your configuration may be quite different. So what happened if at some point your router is faulty? Maybe somehow your router is stolen. Okay, for some reason your router is barred due to some fire or some natural disaster, maybe some water leak. It is fully damaged. Electronics is fully damaged. So you have to replace with a new router, a brand new router. But you have a very little time to make it operational because if you take 2 or 3 hours or more even, and even in case of large organizations router, maybe you need 2 days to configure a router because there are so many configurations. So it will be difficult, time consuming. It is not good practice. What you will do, you will just take backup of the configuration file and preserve it in a server. And when you get a new router, you will just use the configuration and file from FTP server or TFTP server. Okay, it is very important. And in that case, you will just copy the file within a minute, within maybe some within a few seconds. You will get the configuration file and the router will be operational. So what is the arrangement for this? So you will install a server that is called TFTP server because router's configuration file is very small. So TFTP server is enough. But TFTP is not mostly protected using password. So FTP server is secure. So, so it is better to use FTP server. But we can practice this lab with both type of servers. So let's make a scenario in the base. Say we have a router ISR 431. So we can take a server. What is a server? Okay, we have a server. Let's connect the say connect to your network. Okay. What is server? There are different servers. In packet tracer server, we have HTTP server, we have DHCP version 6, TFTP server, DNS, Syslog, Control server, NTP, email, FTP. These are servers. That's TFTP server. Okay. Server is on. Okay, there are some images of different routers switching firewall. And server is on. If you put select off radio button, then it will be close. Okay, let's put first an IP address to the server. Let's say it is then no, say 192.168.1.2. So 192.168.1.7. Okay, this is our server IP address, and so IP okay, we connected our server to 011. Okay. See, so interface gigabit Ethernet 0/0/1 IP address 168.1.1. Okay. Now, if we see, if we can ping the server, our TFTP server. Yes, it's trying to ping. It is pingable. Okay. So, what we can do? We can send the file to the TFTP server. What are the commands? Commands will be copy this. Copy running configure. That is your router right now has a running configuration. Okay. What is running configuration? We see running configuration. Okay. This is the running configuration. You know. So we want to copy this to our TFTP server for backup. Okay. Just command is copy running config TFTP. Then we enter hit enter. Then we will get the prompt for IP address of that server, TFTP server. That is, what is the IP address? 198.168.1.2. Okay, destination file name. Okay, destination file name we can give one R1, say R1 country. Okay. So this is there. Okay. Let's see. I don't know whether it works. Where is the server? Yes. Services and TFTP. Yes, we got it. Is it clear to you?
That's very useful.
Very?
Very useful. It's very
Yeah,
handy.
yeah. Very easy. But remember, it is very important.
Exactly.
But most of the people in the organization fail to do this backup activity. And when a router is burned, imagine a large industrial system where there are so many buildings, so many networks, and for some reason in a building there was a fire incident and the router was totally damaged. So IT team was asked to restore the network connectivity, but they cannot immediately because they have to configure the router from the scratch. Okay, and they have to collect data which server, which host, which switch is connected to which port. Okay, maybe there are some mistake. Okay, under pressure people make mistakes, so it will also kill time. Okay, but if they maintain a small thing, just configure a small server and they configure this, and they would have all the configuration files. They just can configure a router or switch within a minute. Okay,
Yes.
within a 30-second or less, you will be able to configure a router. So it will be a smart way.
So, sir, it is always important to take your server on site, right? Or even cloud, if you can
Yeah.
afford it.
Yeah, that is also possible. That is also possible. Okay.
Because if we let our server in the organization, it might also burn all together with the routers. So if we
Yes.
take it outside the organization, it will be.
Yes. Yes, that is safer. That is safer. Or you maybe your TFTP server may be faulty or maybe damaged. So you should have at least 2 copies or 3 copies of this configuration file. So you can keep a copy in your site or another copy in offsite like in cloud or another site of your organization, say in another district or even another country. Okay, that will be very helpful in case of a disaster.
So, sir, as a network engineer, is it your responsibility to manage the disaster recovery plan, or it is the responsibility of system administrator?
No, actually, system administrator is responsible for a specific job or task, say something, say Linux server administration, Cisco network administration kind of thing. But disaster recovery is a broader approach. It is management's ultimate responsibility, but system administrator has also responsibility in his area. Say you are responsible for network, so maybe disaster recovery related policy or a strategy is your part. Okay. In that case, you will be responsible for your part. Okay. That is the thing. So these are small things, but these have a great impact for the organization. But the smart organizations working in the world, for example, Microsoft, for example, Google, for example, Apple, and this type of organization strictly maintain this type of things like maintaining these backup or kind of. So we learn from them in some way. So if we can practice those or implement those in the organization we work, we will get better result and it will be good. Okay.
Yes.
So we just configured. Now we will, if we want to delete this configuration or we take new routers, then we can easily restore. What is then restoring is another easy way. Look, just one command. You can even, of course, you can memorize it because it is easier. How now in the previous command we use copy running configuration to TFTP. Now copy TFTP to running configuration. It is Linux syntax, right? It is in Linux. If you work with Linux, you will see that at first copy say there we say CP, right? In the Linux CP, then we use the file that we need to copy. Then we target file. Okay, next. This is the thing. However, in Cisco it is the syntax copy TFTP. That means from TFTP file is configured to running configured. How? Then it will show from which TFTP server. And TFTP server is 192.168.1.2. Okay. And what is the file name? File name is R1. Just specify. Maybe you have several files. Okay. Maybe you have several versions of file. So you just specify. Okay. Destination file name may be same. Okay. Or you can change, but we will not. We are just showing this. Not okay. What? Should it be different? Okay. Let's check. Host 68.1.2. Maybe we use different. What was our file name? R1 -1C. Okay, running destination maybe R1 say something. R1 something. Okay. What's wrong? Okay. But it should work. Destination file name. What is the destination? Maybe this.
Router 0.
Sorry.
No, it's R1. It's R1. R1. Maybe the first name.
Okay. Let's check in the Cisco site. Let's check. Okay. Backup and restore store of Cisco configuration. problem. Maybe syntax error. Okay. Restore here. File name. Let's check another way. Okay, 163.1.2. File name is R1.6. Okay, done. No, you don't need to any destination file name. Just it will work. Okay.
Yes, sir.
It will work. That means it is your file is uploaded. So you just run the router. Okay. And another thing is that you should use FTP server. How can you use FTP server? Look at this. First, you will configure a FTP server using Linux or Windows. Okay, you may learn about server configuration in Linux and Windows. But in this lab, we are just using a simulator of server. Okay, FTP you need. You have some advanced features in FTP, like you can set username, password. Say username admin, for example. Password is Cisco or small letter. So what can we write? Read. Okay, rename. Okay, it's admin. Okay, by default there was username, password Cisco. Okay, read, write. Okay, or you can remove it even. Okay, if you want. Okay, delete list everything. Okay, already added. Anyway, okay, we have TFTP server, but for FTP there is a small difference. Just you set username, password. What is username? Admin. I set admin, and password is Cisco. Okay. The command is no. First you set your username, FTP username, and then your password. Okay, it is more protected. Otherwise, who knows who will log into your FTP server and it will be disrupted. Okay, now we will take backup. How can we take same syntax? Running configuration to FTP server. Okay, just in privilege mode, not in configuration mode. Remember. Okay, then your address or name of remote host. If you want to use remote host, you need DNS server. Okay. File name. Okay. Another we can say router 1 FTP and then configure in optic. Okay. Config in our FTP. Okay. Just okay. Now just enter. Now check. You go to your FTP server. Here is but we can see the file. Oh, yes, got it. Okay. Can you see?
Yes, sir.
Yes. What about others? Are you seeing or trying to understand, or just not paying attention? I don't know.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we got we back up this. Okay, now we can register. How can we register? The command is just reverse copy FTP. In the previous command, we use TFTP. Here just also FTP. Okay, enter IP address of the server. .1.2. Oh, source is necessary. Sorry. Okay, file name is R1 and FTP. Okay, okay, done. Okay, in this way you will be able to restore. So it is very easy, but it is very important, and many people miss it. One thing is that we have manually copied the configuration file to the FTP server. Is it efficient? No. Maybe you will forget to take backup configuration, say for example, every night or every day after your office hour or before leaving your office, you will take the backup. So it is not efficient way. Maybe you forgot, maybe you are on leave, whatever. So it is not efficient way. You have to configure something automation. Okay. You have you may know about cron job in Linux. Okay. How many of you know about cron job? Can anyone say?
No, sir.
Not heard about it?
Yes, sir.
You know about it. Okay. What about others? MDCO, Khalid?
No, sir.
Okay. Cron job is a type of configuration in Linux environment. Is that you want to if you want to get a command executed in a specific time, you can set time or recurring time. For example, if you want to execute a command, say at 1 p.m. or 1 a.m. every day, or 1:30 p.m. for example on Monday. Okay, you can set it. You can set the command in the script and set the time. So when time comes, it automatically executes, and it will not execute before or after that time. So what is the use cases of this type of thing? Say you have a server and it has some important data. So you want to back up it regularly. Say, for example, at night, you want to take a backup automatically, but you are not in the office at that time. Okay, you just configure the command and set the target server. So just it will copy from this machine to another machine or another server at the specified time. Okay, it will be used for that phase. In Cisco router or switch, we can also do that. We can use cron job configuration that will automatically copy your configuration file to a server or FTP server. Okay. I have not provided in the lab here because if you understand the basic thing, that then you will be able to configure it. But remember, the concept is that if you use cron job, it will be recurring. If you can configure it for every night, for example, at 2 a.m., it will copy all the configuration file to a server, then it will be easier for you. And you will just check whether these transactions are successful. Just you will check. You have to do nothing. It is totally automatic. Okay. Okay, I am giving you this lab. Backup and restore is important. Then we have okay. Then another important thing is another important thing is NTP. When you take backup or any logs from a server, it has timestamp. Okay. Look at this server. Not this server. This router show clock. Okay. You can see the time. What is the year of this router?
1993.
1993. But we are in 2021. So it is a problem. If you know about the Syslog, the log of a router or switch, which are very important for troubleshooting or finding out root causes of an incident. For example, something happened or some type of cyber attack is on your network, and you are trying to figure out or find out what is the reason, what type of attack. Then you have to check logs. If your logs have some timestamp and which are wrong, for example, and you will not be able to understand when the attack was done. For example, if the attack is happened today, then today's timestamp is mentioned. So if you have some routers system that have different times, you will not be able to investigate the incident. So as a best practice guideline, you have to ensure that all the servers, all the computers, all the IP telephones, all the Cisco routers, switch, firewalls, whatever you have, everything should have the same time frame. And maintaining time on every device is difficult. So you have to deploy NTP server, network time protocol server, NTP server, timing server. And time server is used to provide precise synchronous time. Synchronous time means everything has the same time. In that case, you will be able to understand that everything is okay. Every thing is running with the same time. So how we can set clock set, for example, clock set, we can manually set time. For example, now it's 12. So at first clock time zone at 12, 0, 2, for example, second is 0, and 2 days 18, 4, 2, 0, 2, 1. Okay, now see, show clock. Okay, now time is okay. But it is manual process. But what we can do if we want to take time from NTP server, so we have installed a server, it has NTP also. Look, okay, with this packet tracer server, you can also test the NTP server. But in practice,
So, in real life scenario, can we enable this feature on one server, for example, because deploying different server maybe is costing for maybe small organization?
no, I cannot hear you clearly.
I said that in real life scenario, can we enable this feature like FTP feature and FTP
Yes,
feature on one
yes,
server?
yes. You in Linux or Windows, you can install or configure NTP server in your organization. For Linux, Windows, you know, you have to purchase license from Microsoft. But if you use some open source operating system like Ubuntu, for example, then you can use it without spending money also. However, if your organization, in most cases, organization purchases the license from Windows, in that case, you can use a Windows instance in a server or in a virtual machine with NTP server, and with that NTP, you will synchronize your all the devices in your organization.
So what I mean is that, for example, let's say I have DHCP server and I want to install NTP, let's say Dicho, NTP server.
On the same server, in the same
Yes.
server.
Yes, sir. Is it
Yes,
possible?
yes, you can do that because yes, you can do that. You can do that. But make sure that there is no conflict. In rare cases, multiple servers can conflict with each other. But I hope NTP and DHCP will not conflict with each other. Okay.
Yes.
But in large organization, and it is recommended to use separate servers. Okay. You, nowadays we are not using the physical server. We use virtual server for this type of configuration. Okay. You will have VMware, you will have KVM, you will have Hyper-V virtual machine in your organization. Just create a virtual server with less amount of CPU, memory, storage, because this will not consume too much. So we can, our sizing can be smaller for this type of servers like FTP, TFTP. TFTP, you need very small storage. For example, you can use 5 GB, 10 GB storage, for example. However, you will just configure NTP server. Here we are enabling, it is not enabled. You can use a key. What is key? 1, 2, 3, a key. Password you can set. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh no. Okay. In the lab we will not use authentication. Authentication means you have to provide username, password, or key here for authentication. Okay, it is important. For example, if you want to synchronize your server or a Cisco switch with your NTP server, okay, you can you are not using any password or credential or authentication. For some reason, someone just changing the NTP server. Your NTP server is somehow it is disabled, and someone using the IP address with different time, so that they can perform some type of cyber attack on your system, and for that reason they need to change the time. Okay. In that case, they will use just IP address, and they will deploy NTP server, and your system cannot distinguish whether it is genuine or it is malicious server. Okay. So to protect it, you must enable key and password in real life. Okay. So we can just practice it. We okay. NTP server is running. So what is the command? NTP server. Okay. Here server is 2. Oh no. Here our IP address is 192.168.1.2. Okay. If you have more than one NTP server for security reasons, security means availability point of view. If your one server is down, what will happen to your system or devices? In that case, you will use another server, so that if one server fails, different devices can take time from another. Okay. It is easy. NTP server, just define NTP server. Okay, in the server, connectivity prefer. Okay, prefer is not working maybe. Okay, let me see. No, prefer is not working here. Okay, okay, just NTP server. I am deleting maybe some version. Okay, prefer may not work here. Okay, our NTP server is mentioned. Now check it is association. Let's see. show NTP association. Sorry, I have to go exit. Okay, look. Here of IP address is shown. That means this router is associated with just 1 minute, please. I have a call. I'll just
Nuggets. Kan kita mak aja.
sorry. Okay. It is associated with NTP server. You can see. Okay. And there are different parameters. Some delay you will see in case of sometimes it takes time for synchronization. Okay. If there is differences, for example, you have a device that has different time, but in our case we had already set almost a similar time. With NTP server, it will precision level is millisecond level. Okay. Just what is NTP status? Okay, whether it is synchronized or not, sometimes it takes time to synchronize. Okay. So NTP is synchronized. Okay. Look, it is synchronized. That means the time is locked with each other. Okay. But if there is differences, then it will take some time to synchronize. It takes some time to synchronize with each other. Okay, with each other's clock. So it is very. It is another easy lab, but it is also missed sometimes. And when an incident occurs, when we initiate investigate, we see that very strange timestamps in some systems or computers. So we cannot decide whether this type of cyber attack happened at the same time or in different times. So it is important. Another important point is that here we configured a router as a client of NTP server, but we can also configure router as a NTP server also. Okay, that is okay. I have already mentioned the command. If you go to configuration mode and run NTP master, then stratum number say 2, for example. 2 means router 1. Router 1 is getting time source from other source. Okay, or 1 if you make it the main source for other router. If other router takes time from this router and want to access the server, then stratum will be 2. Okay, we can set router or switch as a server, NTP server, but this is not good practice. In some organizations, people configure router as DHCP server, DNS server, or NTP server, but we should avoid this type of configuration in a larger organization. That's not good. Is it clear to you, NTP?
Yes, sir. But I think that there is problem in IoT. Most of the students are leave. Maybe the problem
Yeah.
occur.
Why? Maybe they. What's wrong with them? Sorry.
And maybe electricity problem occur in IoT.
Oh. What about you who are available? Are you in the campus or any other place?
No, sir. I'm in my village.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, when it happened, I could not notice. I'm just seeing the now. Maybe.
Sir.
Okay, Abdullah is also disconnected. He was actively.
Sir,
Maybe you are from outside.
no, we are in IoT and the light was gone. So all the router and connection has gone. It will take some time. They will join after some time.
Okay.
Me, I'm joining with my phone. That's why.
Power resumed or still outage continues?
Now it's here. Now it's here, but it will take some time for them to join.
Okay, great. Okay. When outage started or electric disturbance started?
Right now, sir.
Right now. Okay. No, I thought that what I said from long maybe missed by everybody. That's bad. Okay. Do you understand that this NTP concept is very important? It's simple but very important.
Sir. Sir.
Yes.
স্যার আমার সিসকো প্যাকেট যখন আমি অন করি নেট অফ থাকে তখন আমি কাজ করলে প্রবলেম হয় না, যখন আমি নেট অন করার পর সিসকো প্যাকেট আমি কাজ করতে চাই তাহলে দেখা যাচ্ছে পিসি 01 যেটাতে আমি মানে কাজ করতে চাই তখন দেখা যাচ্ছে অটোমেটিক অফ হয়ে যায়। এই জন্য মানে ক্লাস চলাকালীন আমি নেট অন থাকা অবস্থায় কাজ করতে পারি না স্যার, এটার প্রবলেমটা কি?
Net, what type of net? Your home network. You are talking about home network.
স্যার আমি মোবাইল ডাটা বেশিরভাগ ইউজ করি, যখন স্যার আমি মানে পিসিতে আমি নেট কানেকশন করি না তখন সিসকো প্যাকেটে কাজ করলে কোনো প্রবলেম হয় না। তো দেখা যাচ্ছে ক্লাস টাইমে যদি আমি সিসকো প্যাকেটে কাজ করি তখন তো নেট অন থাকে, তখন দেখা যাচ্ছে অটোমেটিক অফ হয়ে যায়। যখন পিসি ইয়াতে রাউটার বা এগুলাতে কাজ করতে যায় তখন অটোমেটিক অফ হয়ে যায় সিসকো প্যাকেট সফটওয়্যারটা।
Strange. That's a hot pathana. It should not happen, but net means Wi-Fi connection or just LAN connection with Wi-Fi router. What type is your connection? Or just mobile data you are using?
স্যার মাঝে মাঝে স্যার মোবাইল ডাটা বা ওয়াইফাই, অল টাইম মোবাইল ডাটা।
প্রবলেম হচ্ছে কোথার সাথে, মোবাইল ডাটা ইউজের সময় নাকি?
না স্যার আমার ল্যাপটপে যখন আমি নেট কানেকশন করি তখনই দেখা যাচ্ছে এই সিসকো প্যাকেটে কাজ করা যায় না।
যে কোনো নেটওয়ার্ক দিলে, তাই তো?
যে কোনো, হ্যাঁ।
Sir.
Have you registered with with Cisco net? It is required to configure registration, complete registration. So it's internet. Yes.
Sir, I was saying that it's better if we speak in English because we
Yeah,
can take
yeah.
a profit from that from
Okay,
a
okay.
question instead of talking
No, no.
Bangla.
Yes, yes, it's correct. She was talking about her network connectivity. Maybe she is facing problem when she.
Sir, I just joined because we are facing internet problem.
No, no. Yes, I understand. Is now it's working now?
Now it's working, yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. No, I was talking about Nazneen's computer. She is facing when she connects her packet tracer disconnect. I think there is some issue with packet tracer registration. Okay. Check it. Then I think it should not be problem. Okay. Let's continue with NTP. What about NTP? Are you clear about NTP concept?
Yes, sir.
Yes, great. I think everyone should understand because NTP is important. Maybe you will face problem if you take any networking related test or interview even. Okay, we have several other labs. Maybe I will not be able to cover all. You will do it yourself. There are so many labs. Because these are things that you must know.
Yes, you just explain the concept.
Okay,
Then
okay.
we will do the lab by ourselves.
Okay, okay. Explain because we have more time.
Yes.
Another issue is that MOTD, you know, a message of the day. Okay. You will also think that it is very simple thing, but it is important. Say MOTD, when someone logins to a router or switch, you can set a message. Say you are a senior network admin, you want to warn your junior colleague that this is a very critical switch. If you misconfigure this router or switch, it will hamper the whole organization's network, and it is dangerous and it has consequences. So if you want to, sorry, let me. Let's continue. Message of the day, when you log in, when someone log in, and they will see the message and they will be able to be cautious. Okay. Say another reason we can use, for example, you are in a very sensitive organization, and say it is law enforcement agency or government agency. Say in that case, you will write the message that if someone mistakenly or intentionally log into this system, just disconnect it immediately. Otherwise, if you are detected, you will be sued or you will be punished. Okay, it is important for some reason because it is okay. This sometimes we should use this. Okay, okay, is clear? Okay. And then we have another lab related to DHCP server. Okay, just I am explaining concept. You will do it yourself. We can configure router as a DHCP server, or we can use separate DHCP server. Look, we can in the lab we have also two types of DHCP server. DHCP server are IP version 4 and IP version 6. For IP version 4, you will see you can name the server pool. Okay, say for user IP pool, and then default gateway, and then you can set DNS server and the range. We can use a range. For example, if you have 20 users, then you have 20. If you have 1,000 users, then you will set IP address around 1,000. Okay, then you will set subnet mask, and then we can also set other servers if you have website TFTP server type. Okay. There is another thing, but here is missing somehow. That is called exclusion, IP address exclusion. That should be reserved for some reason, and you should not give in the pool. Okay, and you look at this file. In the file, I mentioned that the default gateway is common for all, and then you have DNS domain names. Say you have IoTBD, say your domain. Okay, you can set and DHCP lease time. Lease time means when your device get IP from DHCP server, there is a specific type. For example, by default we use 24 hours, but you can set different times. That means for that period of time, IP address is set for that device, reserved for that device. Or IP address exclusion is that you want to reserve IP address for other reason that you don't want to give them in the DHCP pool. Okay, for example, gateway. Gateway is common for everybody. Gateway is put on the router interface. That should not be in the pool. That should be exclusion. So we can set this in the router. Can create pool. Okay, but we can also use server. We have also server in the packet tracer. You have both. You have both IP version 6. 6 also use. We will discuss in the IP version 6 related topics. Then the main reason why I am discussing about DHCP is that DHCP relay is important. Okay, DHCP server should not be configured in router. In most cases, it is not recommended. You will use separate Windows Linux server. But when DHCP relay is an important concept that you must know in routing. Look at this figure. You have a router 2, you have router 1, you have say a computer connected through a switch. Say you have DHCP server in R2. Okay, in router 2, or you have a server, DHCP server, which is connected to router 2, and router 2 is connected to R1 over 1, maybe this router is in a remote place or in the same region, but you have a connection, and because it is different network. Of course, router connections are different networks. So, will DHCP server work for this computer? No, it will not work by default, because DHCP server has a IP address that is connected to a network, and it will work in that network. It will not be able to work for other network by default, because router will block it. So to do that, you have to configure relay router, DHCP relay. DHCP relay will help you to make sure it works with computers or hosts in another network. Okay, that is the main concept. Okay, maybe you will face this problem. Someone says that DHCP server is installed, but it is working in the network, but for other network, it is not working. So DHCP relay should be installed for this. Okay, the command.
Do we need to configure DHCP relay if we use a DHCP server? Not a router.
In the router, DHCP relay is a configuration, and you will execute in router.
Yes.
Say,
what if we have a DHCP, a dedicated server to perform a DHCP function? We need to configure a DHCP relay, the interface F0/0.
No, you have a server which has multiple means you have you can set for you can set DHCP server on multiple networks. In the example, in the previous example, we look at this. In the server, you see that DHCP server, it is a pool. Okay, look at this. You have a pool,
Yes,
but you can configure several pools. Okay, several pools for several networks.
yes.
Who is talking? But making noise. Everybody is mute.
Ammar.
Maybe. Yeah. Okay. Mute him. Okay. What I am trying to say that when you have multiple pool in a DHCP server, or for example, one pool is used locally, okay, that will work. But one pool is for another network that is connected to other router. So other router will not allow your DHCP server, or it will be blocked by default. When you run the command of relay, DHCP relay, it will work in that case.
Okay, so regardless of whether you're using router as a DHCP or dedicated server as a DHCP, you need to configure a DHCP relay if you are not on the same network, right?
Yeah. When you it is how it is configured, this is the main configuration. I am just a relay is used in this way, IP helper address. Okay, IP helper address is the IP DHCP relay command. Okay, you will try it yourself. This is the main command. Okay. Okay. Then we have what about HTTP access? HTTP access is when we try to configure or monitor our router or switch using a web browser. Okay, we can enable HTTP. It is easy. I should not describe. Maybe it is easier understandable to you. Okay, I may skip. I will skip it. Okay. And another important topic is Syslog. It is very important. Okay, Syslog. If you use Linux, it is Linux operating system command or feature Syslog. Whatever you do in a Linux machine, machine means it's computer or it's server, there will be some records. Okay, who is running which command, what is happening in the machine. So everything is recorded. Okay. For some reason, if you want to investigate what is happening inside the system, you can see the logs. So in modern organizations, we have log management system. Log management systems are used to collect logs from different computers, different servers, and networking devices for analysis. If something happens, such as cyber attack or some trouble, technical trouble, in that case, you have to investigate what happened actually in the system. So you collect logs and analyze them and solve the problem. Okay, so we configure Syslog server. Okay, in this simulation, you also have Syslog. Okay, Syslog server. If you configure Syslog, all the logs will be sent to this Syslog server, and Syslog server will preserve all the logs, and you can also copy these logs to other systems for protection if Syslog server fails for some reason. Okay, the command is just basic commands are similar, but main command is here: logging host, then mention the Syslog server, and the logs will be transferred. And another important command is logging trap. What is logging trap? If you print logging trap, then and exclamation sign, you will see this severity level 1 to 7. Okay, what is 1 to 7? 0 means emergencies, 1 means alerts, 2 means critical condition. Okay, and others are different levels. Okay, we will set logging level. If you want to get only alerts, then you will set 1. Okay, you will get 0 to 1. If you set 7, you will get 0 to 7. That means all traps, all types of messages. There are different types of messages are generating by your router switch computer. Okay, in Windows it is called event viewer. Okay, what are warnings? For some, maybe warnings can be generated. Some are informational, some are errors. Some errors occur in the device. Okay, data recorded, emergency, debugging. So if we mention debugging, that means all will be sent to the server. Okay. And show logging, let's see some log server. I will not. Password is disturbing. Okay, you can see it easily. Okay, you can see the logs of your router switch. And for our analysis, or for some reason, we will preserve in the Syslog server, because maybe your server, maybe your switch or router may be damaged for some reason, but your logs will be transferred to the Syslog server. It can be analyzed later. Okay. And then we have what else are available? Maybe covered almost every. But one thing is remaining. I covered almost every.
So can you share the files?
Okay.
Now?
Okay, I am sharing all the. I already shared how many. Check. I already shared only SHS and the backup. I need to share all other. Okay, I can also share what file. Let me share. Okay, first is entity client. Entity client. Then MOTD. Then I will password. HTTP. HTTP. So most probably I missed HTTP privilege. Okay, you will see that we can set different privilege for some users. For example, you have got an intern in your organization. You are a network engineer, but you don't want to give the intern the right privilege, because he or she may mistake as they have no experience. So for learning or just monitoring, you can give them some read-only. So lab iOS privilege. Okay, iOS privilege lab. You will see that how to set different levels for different users. Okay, let's finish today. If you have any question, quickly, or we'll finish it here. Do you have any question? Yes.
No question, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Sir,
yes.
I missed 2 classes because I was sick. So, my ID 75 with my countrymate is the one who was with me in the hospital, whose ID is 1156.
Okay. Okay. Medical issue. Okay. Okay. That's okay. Okay. Continue other classes, or try to understand all the and go through all the materials I provided. If you face any problem, then also discuss. Okay.
Right, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Okay.